On the second floor. 301 Main Street, Sturbridge, Mass. The Conservation Commission will hold this meeting in person with the option for virtual attendance. In-person attendance will be at the meeting location, which I just mentioned. Please join my meeting for your computer, tablet, or smartphone at https://meet.goto.com/town/Sturbridge/conservation. You can also dial in using your phone at 1-646-749-3122, access code 819-169-093. All right, so this meeting will also be reviewed via the Sturbridge Community Public Access Television, SCTV, at http://sturbridge.vod.castus.tv/ and selecting live 191 go logo play. Okay. All right. In addition to the document presented in the Commission's packet, available on the Commission's website, full application plans and narratives are available on the Commission's website. Open the public meeting. We'll have a call to order. We have two remote members. If you could, Flor, could you say here? And Roy.
Roy Bishop, present.
Carsten Stuber, present.
Eric Gaspar, present.
And Ed Goodwin, present. Okay, so we have we have four, not a full constant. Yep. Barnacles walk through, we have nothing for that. Okay. Well, I'll just pass this out then. We have this coming up in our meeting tonight, so I figured we'd trees cut down. How many trees do you have to actually replace the carbon footprint? And so we don't have to discuss that now. We'll discuss that at the inappropriate occasion. So we'll start off with the new public hearings. 6 p.m., 175 Cedar Street, request for determination of applicability, repair of a failed septic system, SCC number 25-39. Owner applicant is Kyle Baker. Stephen Soper is representing the applicant. All right.
How you doing? I'm Stephen Soper, from Soper Construction. I'm here about 175 Cedar Street. It's a 3-bedroom septic. The septic is in failure, and they are selling the house. So, as you can see on the board, it's a basic Presby system with 1,500-gallon 2-compartment tank. We're just within the 100-foot buffer zone. There are no trees to be cut down. It's a little bit of a downhill slope, but it's a wooded area, and we can easily control any erosion that would take place. It's a quick project. We'll be in and out of there in 4 days probably. I know it's not a great time to grow grass, but we'll seed it and hay it real heavy. And, we'll have to get the certificate of compliance in the spring, but and that's it.
Okay. All right.
During the site walk, there was a question if the activity in the system in the leach field can be moved back closer towards the well radius by like 10 or 20 feet to get it further from the buffer zone. Or if there's a design reason that you have the leach field at this location?
So I would have to check with Jay. So the stakes that I put there, I slid them back as far as I thought I could. They're back. The stakes are actually back about 5 feet from where this is depicted on here, and you can see how it's close up against that driveway there. And then the further you go back, then you're against the driveway, and then you're starting to be against the property line as well. I can talk to him about moving it back further. I think I could probably take it back another 5 or 10 feet, but I'd have to double check with him.
Or like turn it, but then it'd probably be too close.
Yeah, so then you're starting to deal with elevations of groundwater and the elevation of the system itself, and we're trying to keep it in the ground and not be a bump, not disturb the natural landscape. So it's once you start turning it, so you bring it uphill, then you have to raise. There's already existing plumbing in the house that ties into the existing septic tank, so then you have to go inside and possibly raise that. Once you go higher in elevation up the hill, then just the top of the system's going to be higher. It would take. I'd have to look at it a little better to figure that out.
Would that have a cost increase to your
Yeah.
client?
For sure.
And then my comment was, if the commission approves the location where it is now, would you be willing to do some small to medium boulders kind of spaced out around this edge here, outside of the erosion control, just for extra stability, but also as kind of a permanent boundary?
Yeah, absolutely.
Those were my comments.
I guess the question that we had was, where was the old system?
The old system is right in that same area. I think it's back towards the house a little bit, but I don't really have all that information. But I know the tank is there, so it's on that side somewhere.
So the tank now is that one, right?
Yeah, the square one is the new tank. That little circle behind it is the existing one.
And, so that's,
And then this is the existing.
Oh, yeah, there it is, right there in the back.
Yep.
so why did the system fail? What?
That I don't know. I didn't do the Title V. I'm not sure. I'm probably original. It's, they last about 20 years, depending on the soil. I'm not sure exactly why it failed, but
How old is the house? Less than 20?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a rough guesstimate of 10 to 15 years.
Yeah,
I was on that site when it was built.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, use is like the number one killer of those things. Like, do you use it? How do you use it? How often do you pump it?
What do you put in it?
What you put in it exactly?
Well, the thing is that they get the perk close to the wetland because that's where the gravel deposits are, and so that's how the system works.
Yeah.
And it's really not a good system, but it's the best one we have.
Yeah.
But
No questions.
Laura, any questions?
Yes, actually to confirm, because it was a little bit shocking that if the possibility of moving right now, it's proposed to be done to the, I think it will be like the east of the existing, if it could be done to the west near the septic tank, so that it moves out of the 100 feet. It wasn't clear if that was a confirmation that it was going to be possible to do that or not.
Yeah, that's what he's,
Yeah, so I mean, anything's possible. It just it comes at a cost, and so the existing plumbing in the house is kind of what prevents us from moving it too far up the hill. The elevation of the existing plumbing, if it can be raised, great. The existing septic tank is rather close to the elevation anyways. So now you're talking about maybe you have to put a pump in, and then you have a hump in the front yard, and an extra tank in there with a pump, and you're talking a difference of $8,000 to $10,000. So
Roy, anything?
Thank you.
Where's the well?
In the rear of the house, it's not pictured, but the 100-foot well offset is.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Did I cut you off, Laura? Did you have another question?
No, I was saying thank you.
Eric?
I'm good. We don't
No,
have
I,
anything for the public.
in looking at it, I feel that we should look at moving, if we can, move it back 10 feet or so from where it is.
Okay.
It's a reasonable thing to look at, and it's, you know, it's a for sale house, right? So, you know, we represent the town,
Yeah.
so I'd like to see it just a little better. Because that
Yes.
wetland is, you know,
I'll see what I can do, yeah.
that wetland also fills up at times to the base there.
Okay. Like I said, yeah, I moved it, so the stakes that were on site were about 5 feet back from where this one is depicted now.
Yeah. Well, I was looking on site.
Yeah.
So,
To move it, though, it sounds like that's gonna create additional disturbance.
Yeah, it's possible.
yeah.
I mean, I look at moving it as far as possible without
Right.
creating.
Are we okay with it being somewhat of a nebulous?
no, I'd like to have it specific on,
Well,
they can,
I,
You want a definitive response as
I want
if
a
it can be
definitive response,
removed
yeah.
versus conditioning that, okay. So are
So
you
we have a plan
recommending
on
a
the file.
continuation to January 9th?
yeah. Is that a problem for you, Stephen?
It's a problem for the customer, I know that.
Because they have a,
Yeah,
somebody
they had,
wants to
they
buy
had a
the house.
closing date of December 7th, I believe, and I said that wasn't gonna happen, so
Wait.
now it's January 17th. Just for us to go to the meeting and get this resolved and then install it is not gonna be possible.
as a practical matter,
As a
Lauren,
practical
what are we
matter.
talking about? What are we talking about the difference, in your opinion?
The only, well, additional disturbance, wrong plan. I would be cautious of doing an additional disturbance back 5 or 10 feet, only because of how close it is to that driveway, and then it turning into either a driveway erosion problem, or they have to now do repair and replace the driveway. But it sounds like moving it,
even if there was a slight tilt, you know, to tell you, you know, not to be, I don't want to do Stephen's job because he does a good job at it and I don't do it. But, this is downhill, so pump problems are, minimal. If it's tilted and moved slightly away from the wetlands, it's going to last longer for the person who buys it.
I
And
think
as
you'd
far
only
as,
get this end out, right? So this end would still kind of be closer. And that's where more of your impact kind of is right now.
right. You gotta pull the other system out anyway, too. And as far as the elevation interior to the house, I mean, that's a legitimate cost.
So can you build the system in any case during this time of weather?
Say again, I'm sorry?
Can you build the system in any way, in any case at this time of year?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's gonna be 50 degrees next week.
Can we just condition it, put it, moving it back as well? Well, and he works with the agent.
Problem with that is it takes away any kind of negotiating at all. If we said that we can approve it if it's gonna go back 10 feet, I can say something like that. to move
We
it
don't know
away.
for certain if it can.
What?
we don't
We're
know
not
for certain
we
if it
no. If it can't go back 10 feet, then they'll have to, come
I
to
think
it.
it can go back 10 feet, yeah.
What?
I think it can go back 10 feet.
Yeah, well, I wasn't looking for any more than that.
Okay. Yeah, just quickly looking at the elevation, I mean, and I'd have to double check with Jay, because, you know, he's the engineer of record, but just quickly looking at the elevations, I think we can go back 10 feet. You know, we might have to raise the, you know, the back end of it maybe raised out of the ground a little bit, but
Okay. Well, then we have a motion to close the public hearing?
With the condition of,
What? Yeah.
with the
So
condition.
what, are we clear on, it? So basically, the anchor point at the front towards the driveway is going to stay. We're tilting the back, the section of the driveway, that's going 10 feet that way.
Right.
Is that's, everybody's aware of that, and that you think that
yeah,
that's
yeah,
gonna
the
work?
D-box side swing up
Yeah.
towards that.
It'll be closer up to where the existing is
Follow-up
now.
question, just to be safe. Some reason they get in there, that can't be done. Could we pick this up as a minor change and not force the applicant to refile?
An RDA.
Yeah.
Oh, so we could,
Now you can.
or could we? Yeah. Right?
Yeah, it's just, it's conditioned obviously a little
Just wanna-
differently.
I wouldn't want to close the public hearing, vote for it, and then have him get
And
in
then turn
there.
out that it can't move back
And then
10
we got to start the
feet.
process all over again, and then, I mean, we're
Right.
talking, so, but if we can do that, if God forbid there's something in there
Yeah.
that prevents it from happening, and we can do it,
You could put it with a stipulation that if, you know, the engineer determines that it cannot, either for code reasons or site condition, that it cannot be moved at all, that essentially you'd be approving what is there, but
No, I don't want to do that. And we
Can't
don't have the
guarantee.
engineer here, which is another point that I'd like to have the engineer on septic systems here presenting to us specifically, so that these types of things can be answered.
would you, well, all of you be willing to maybe table this for a little and you can see if Jay can get on the call?
Yeah, I can do that.
That way maybe we can see if the engineer's available to hop on the call for a moment.
I don't have a problem with that.
Table this for, go to the next one and then see if he's available and then go back.
it works for me.
Yep, no problem.
Make a motion to table it, or we just keep it open?
And then we'll move to item 2 and then go back to 1.
All right?
Want to shoot and call or text?
All right, we're now at, well, not at 6:30. No, 6:10, I'm sorry. 72 Paradise Lane, request to amend an order of conditions to raise and rebuild the lakefront cottage and associated site work, DEP found with 300-1148. All right?
How you doing? Mike Walsh, Walsh Builders,
Yep.
72 Paradise.
Where do you want to go with this?
Well, if you want to walk them through the change and just kind of.
Well, did you,
present.
does he have a copy of the letter from the building inspector?
Yes, I received that email
Okay.
an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, I got it 15 minutes ago, so, yeah. Go ahead.
Can I build the house? I mean, we're only going up a foot on the side here. It will meet height restriction. It's only going up a foot. We discussed it last time. I don't know what else to say.
Is this the final location of the retaining wall?
That's gonna be where it is. Yep,
In this
right.
shape here?
yes, yep. And originally, the architect, I think, because he was...
It was down this
Yeah,
way.
he put it where the, no, a little bit down where that chimney is, that bump out. Yeah, he had it there, which is a two-foot drop, but the retaining wall wasn't going there, so it brings us back up to 28 or 29 there, at 28. So we only need a foot now, and it's not going to be as an incline, it's going to be less of an incline. And, I mean, we're digging a little bit deeper in the hole to make it a true walkout basement. Did you guys go out and take a look?
Did, yeah.
What's your thoughts?
There's not a tree left on the property, basically. That was the first thought I had, and then it was all netting and, runoff. I was very disappointed with the site. And I don't see where you can go in and raise from, what was the point? Where is the point on is this it here?
Where we were standing?
Yeah,
So the final grade is at about 725.
25?
The current patio that's by the water right now is at 724.
but they're gonna raise,
So from
backfill the foundation.
From where we were standing at the patio,
Yeah,
it would be a 1-foot grade back up to the walkout.
where's the walkout? Right here?
Right on the bottom there.
And we were standing about here.
Yeah.
Well, we walked up to the edge, but from about here was where it should be, the new grade.
So your plan is to just backfill?
Little 1 foot higher than proposed.
What are you gonna dig down, where are you gonna dig down? You said, you just,
In the hole to get to the full, I think it says a 6 foot, but we're.
where is that?
Footing to, from bottom to foot, the 725 number. In the middle of the screen, proposed.
Right here?
Up. The BF, yeah. So the hole's already at that.
Below that.
The hole is below.
Yes. Where the current patio is,
Yes.
right now, that grade is at 724 where we were standing. Your hole is probably at about 720.
Yeah, 3 feet. Yeah, that's because it was supposed to be a frost wall there. That's that's supposed to be a frost wall going across the back. And, yeah, we're right there. We're going right back to the original grade of before the house was even torn down.
So you're gonna have to fill back in?
No, we have the, what do you, no, it's hard to see because that mound goes up and over, but once that's all spread out, it'll be back to 725, or 720, yeah, 725. 724.
So what is it the building inspector didn't like about the site?
He didn't like that we were 2 feet higher, or a foot higher than zoning would require. So we proposed to bring the dirt, bring some material in to raise up that retaining wall 1 foot to meet requirement. Meet the height
So the height
restriction.
of the height of the building would remain the same, but the ground would raise up?
Yep, and he was okay with that. That was his idea.
So then the height would be different.
Yeah, no, I can. I got that.
It's
part.
magic.
It is magic.
What do we do with this building inspector here?
What's that?
That it's unstable and that it can't be built and...
Yeah, I mean, it's 7 feet from the water, so water getting into that hole's expected. It's been a while. I mean, I wouldn't be in this predicament if the original house wasn't approved by everyone. The house got approved, it shouldn't have been. I started digging it, and we realized that it shouldn't be, it wasn't zoned. So the architect and the homeowner, using the same footprint, made a house that would work there, which would be a 3-story, 1 undergrade, 2 above, meeting zoning requirements.
What? Zoning says that from the street, it's gonna look like a three-decker.
Originally was approved was a 4-story house, but both conservation and zoning did not have the structural design, so it didn't. No one knew that that it exceeded the height requirements.
Okay,
So that was why they had to go back and design, because
yeah.
it exceeded that. And then with the modification, the way around that was increasing the base level of the ground, bring up the
To meet
ground.
the requirement of
then the
35
Then the
feet.
height starts from that level, so.
But the foundation's already in, right?
No,
No foundation?
no,
No
we,
footings, no base?
no, just the site's excavated. And it had, you know, we started this 2 months ago, so it was, you know, a little bit nicer weather, but it was ready to go. I had my site guy, my foundation guy, the architect, and the homeowner on the site, and we're scratching our heads because nothing was lining up, nothing made sense. I came to conservation asking if I could bring some dirt in to make it right. And then when, you know, myself and conservation were looking at it, we realized that this house isn't appropriately zoned for this area. So we actually took a walk over to zoning, found the height requirements and everything. The house ended up not working, but using the same footprint, same outline as that. We're gonna use the same thing. We just drew a walkout basement, which would meet the zoning requirement of a 3-story, 1 undergrade, 2 above.
So the walkout is here? The walkout here?
Walk out, and then this is the patio.
You said that that's been changed?
This is a new patio.
Patio's new?
The patio that we were standing at was this one that was down here.
Yeah.
Yep.
The
That
stone
one's
one.
up there. And in good faith, Bob, the homeowner, moved the house as far away from everything as possible. He tried to stay away from the water, the neighbor on the right side there. You know, just trying to make it easier for himself to, you know, be able to build a house.
That's the original footprint, right?
Original as the house, as in the house that I knocked down?
Yeah.
Or- no, the house that we knocked down was a lot smaller, like a little cottage house.
So in good faith, you made it bigger?
Not me, Bob. But
What?
Not me, but Bob. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
okay.
Well, I mean, he's building a house. It's going to look very similar to the one on the side of it. If you can see, if you.
This
Remember
was
that
the
one.
original, and then this was what was originally approved.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so to avoid, you know, months of conservation and coming back and forth, the architect just used the same footprint as you would see on the right there, and just redesigned the house a little bit. He built a, you know, it's a walkout basement now and 2 stories above.
Where's the walkout basement?
Here.
Where the patio is there?
So this one here, this is what it looks like on the backside. I don't know if you guys can see that. But that's what it will look like on the backside. And then on the front, it's going to look like the house next door. 2 stories above grade. That's the 2 stories above grade.
Mm-hmm.
And the backside, obviously, is 3 stories with the addition of the walkout.
So why don't you bring it into code by bringing the height down to that 1 extra foot, and it'll be perfect?
No, the height's got to go up. We're too high. We're too low. No, we're too high. We're too low. We got to make 35 feet. So, and honestly, I think
Why don't you do 33 feet?
you can do whatever you want. I mean, it's a grading issue. It's conservation.
I'm talking about the height of the house.
Right.
Well, he doesn't want to change the house.
Oh, are you saying the design of the house?
Yes.
I got you. No, the roof pitches are already at what they are. They're almost not flat, but he kept that in mind. He can't, you know, it's not gonna. If he puts a flat roof on the house, it's not gonna look right. It's gonna look like a sore thumb out there. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
So we're just going a little deeper in the hole to bring the house down to 35, bringing the retaining wall up, make the 35.
Okay. Anybody else? Nobody else seems to want to talk about this. So,
So my question
I
is,
have my idea.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, so it's the elevation map. When we went to the site, it seems that it's a very large drop between the property and the property that is, I think it's lot 74, the one that is next to it, to the right in this map. However, it doesn't show here in this plan that drop, and I think if there is going to be any change in elevation, that topography should be mapped because it can make runoff towards the other property and in the end also to the lake.
It's going up, so the incline is less, so the runoff will be less.
Still an incline though, right?
No, she's saying, so in this area right here, there's a huge drop down towards the neighbor's house, and if you bring this up a foot, then that drop is gonna be even more steep. The way the site is now.
And what would you recommend?
We aren't
You can
recommending.
see the drop in the previous plans, the one that was approved and the original one. You can see the drop in the contour lines that are not in this new one.
Yeah, the drop that's there now is not on this plan. The condition of the site doesn't meet what's going to make sense with the rest of the activity on that side of the slope. So essentially, and you've got a storm chamber that you're building here, but right now that's like a 3-foot drop about right here. So I don't understand how that's getting built.
I'd have to ask the engineer.
And yeah, it's just kind of the concern that, that was one thing we were looking at the site walk too, is with the drop on this side, you're gonna send all your water over to your neighbor's house.
Like the groundwater? Because everything's going to be thrown in, like all the gutters has gone into tanks, the water runoff.
All the surface water, because you're also at the bottom of a hill, so everything that's coming from down across the street, coming this way, that's making its way over the driveway, you're sending it all right over to your neighbor over here.
But the numbers haven't changed. They.
That's what I'm saying, is that what's there now, it doesn't make sense, because it's like saying that it's going to be 726, 724, but this is so raised up right now. I'm just.
So would you want me to bring some more material in to try to bring it up, or?
Well, that's what you're proposing to do. We're saying it is up really
I'm
high
trying
right
to raise
now.
up near the retaining wall to make the requirement. I'm not trying to, it's the retaining wall that was lower than, that was the highest point that we're trying to get to. So we started there. But if you follow that to the corner of the house, that's where we're trying to measure from there up to the top to get to 35.
Yeah, I think just the concern on the site is everything that's right now running off this way towards your neighbor, but also down into the lake too.
So what
But I mean,
Well,
yeah, I'll let Flora let you continue, but.
the image, I'm looking at the images that we took during the site visit. Image 0382 shows that big drop to the neighbors. There is more than a feet, and this map has an interval of 1 feet.
Right here.
Yeah. So that is
drop from
the large
where
drop.
hay is onto that second part?
It's going to be 1 feet higher.
That's not good. That's
My understanding is that it's going to be 1 feet higher after the 1 feet increase in the filling that is planned.
Right.
That's just extra material there. That's not where we're landing. That's just dirt we took out of the hole. We're going to get back to where that bucket is.
So this is all coming out.
Yeah, that's all just material that we.
But the
put
plan is
aside 'cause I
saying-
got the site shut down, we couldn't do anything.
But you're saying you're raising it up, and this is going to be raised up.
From,
This is going to be raised up. And it's going to flow this direction.
no,
So they didn't
So, say we
stockpile
take
the removed stuff, it's just all spread out?
it's spread out. Yeah, it's just,
Okay.
that's not the grade that we're not trying to get to where the hay is. We're trying to get back down to where the,
We were essentially walking down the stockpile.
pretty much, yeah. I would have done something with it, but we did get removed off the site. I couldn't have anyone come and do anything, we got kicked off.
Yeah.
We're getting back to exactly what the original grade was before the house was knocked down, before the house was approved. It's gonna look like the neighbor's yard, right to the left.
Okay, thanks for explaining that, because that wasn't clear, it wasn't,
Yeah, see, like all that, like,
much-
that's gonna be gone. I mean, I can't see from here how many feet up we're gonna be going, but that's gonna be backfilled in. That was all just loose material that we had taken out. We were gonna plan on backfilling with it. You know, we didn't wanna take it out.
Is that where the confusion?
Well,
I know, but your grander point around raising it is that we also need to make sure we armor that somehow, so, because it's going to be.
Not creating any additional increased flow onto the neighbors' properties or into the lake.
Right.
Because, I mean, at the end, really, this site is at the all these lakefront properties, they're all at the bottom of a hill.
Right.
So you're taking all that from the hill behind it as well, not just taking into account the runoff that's coming onto the site or from the house. It's everything around it too,
Yeah.
which we're already seeing.
So how do we
on the
protect
properties.
against that with increasing it, you know, how can we move this forward? Providing adequate protection against what inevitably is gonna be a higher velocity flow. I know it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it's a foot, and, you know, I mean, every foot is gonna create another degree of speed in these bigger storms, so we need to protect both the neighbor's property and the lake from that somehow. Is there a recommendation you could make, Lauren, that would slow that flow down?
we also have a lot of vegetation
and
coming there too.
and protect it from, you know, just eroding out over time.
I mean, the site stability during the project is going to be a big thing. Using the proper erosion controls and netting, so while we're waiting for that grass to grow, putting down, that like mesh netting over on top of it, and I think putting some plantings on the side, because all your plantings that are approved now are all on the other side of the property.
Well, yeah, that is true. However, because of the tree that got cut down, we have to add some more, so I could put it on that side if you'd like.
Yeah, I think just putting more, but I'm more in this way, but obviously you don't want it to
Right. And then
interfere
I
with
knew
the storm
dock was gonna
chamber
be an issue
either.
too, so.
Have you gone over the original order of conditions?
I've read it.
Okay, so things that are on here, like the dewatering, all the pictures that you're supposed to be taking throughout, you're familiar with those?
No.
Okay. 'Cause I'm just
Pictures
worried
what?
about,
I
I'm
do
just
have
worried
plenty
of the
pictures. I do
problem
take
down the road.
I do have plenty of pictures, but what would,
So roof runoff from the structure and driveway shall be directed in the drainage structures. Documentation of installation of the system per the plan must be provided. This shall include photographs of both systems prior to backfilling and a letter from the installer that it was completed per the plan and manufacturer requirements.
right, I can do all that. We haven't gotten that far yet.
Condition on here, documentation of the patio installation has to be provided. This shall include a letter from the installer that it was completed per the plan and the manufacturer requirements. So these are ones that were already in the original order, so it's
I
just,
got
you
no
know,
issue with that.
just making sure that they're actually getting done.
Yeah, right, absolutely. I mean,
Now, the
it's part of the
second
conditions, like you
problem we've
said.
had on the site,
Right.
and just, you know, like we said earlier, and like the building inspector said, the site's in really rough shape right now.
I can't do anything. I can't do anything in there, you know? I was in the middle of putting a foundation. I wouldn't even have been in this spot if the house wasn't approved by the town of Sturbridge. The house was approved. We were ready to build this thing. My foundation guy was coming the next week to do it. I'm glad I caught him. I'm glad I caught the whole thing. It would have been a $30,000, $40,000 mistake. I never would have been in this hole. No pun intended.
Roy, you got anything?
I'm good.
You're good?
What kind of erosion control would you like on that? You know, plant some grass, you know, put some hay or keep the silt fence there until the...
Well, you have to keep the silt fence there till the project is done and
Right.
we say it can come out. But, you know, as you're going, just doing like the netting that's there now and
Yeah.
maintaining that.
Right.
That's
Well, that's
gonna
gonna be
kinda be one of
gone.
your better
That whole,
options.
all those mounds on the left and right side are gonna, as soon as I put the foundation in, we're pushing that dirt back in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So then we'll be back to almost 725, 724.
Laura?
That's a big drop, and I understand now. I know what you're talking about. Such a big drop, but that was just extra material. That's not what we're trying to get up to. That's a lot. Now I understand what you mean, but no, the land or the soil on the side of it. That's where we're trying to get to. The
Are
elevation.
you taking that material off-site or
No,
is it getting
we're using it to
backfilled?
backfill. Yeah, I would have took. I would have taken it off if we didn't need it.
Laura, you had your hand up?
Yes, the plan purchase documents don't have the information from the previous approval that should have the information on the runoff. Because even though I know that 1 foot seems like a very small amount, but on the very short, this is also a very short distance from the 1 foot to the edge of the water. So, Laura, would it be possible to get those or have, I don't know if DEP revise those as well? Just to see what's the date on that, on the amount of runoff, the increase in runoff that will go into the water with a 1 foot increase over a distance that is, I don't have the scale of the plan here, but it's a very short distance between the
Yeah,
wall and the water.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that we got, with the original plan, I don't think there was a stormwater report or anything, because single-family house, so I wasn't here for the original approval process, but everything I've looked back in the file, we don't have stormwater analysis from what was originally approved, and
If you take Bill LePage and his note and the number of questions that we've asked that we're not getting, I think we need to get the engineer in here to go over the project for us. I don't think the builder has adequate answers. He's saying, you know, one thing and another, but he's not really addressing the issues on the site.
So what, you know, the mound of dirt you guys were standing on was just material. It's not a drop like that. It's not gonna be, we're not bringing anything in to make it that level. It's just gonna be pushed back into the hole after we backfill, bringing us back to where that yellow bucket was, our orange bucket that was in the picture there.
I understand, but that isn't a problem that I had.
So what is the issue?
Well, my issue is that you're designing to build the house up through fill on the edge of the lake. That I have a problem with that, and I
I'm in the
understand.
buffer though.
What?
I'm in the buffer though, right?
Yeah, you're in the buffer, right. That's exactly what I'm protecting here tonight. Absolutely, the buffer. So, anything within 200 feet, I'm protecting here tonight. 100 feet, 50 feet, 25 feet. So, and I don't see you really, I think if you had the engineer here, and we asked you a question, he would be able to back you up, or,
He's a site guy. He would know more on the elevations, just like the septic guy over here. He knows.
yeah, exactly. So I have a problem with moving this forward until we get somebody in here that, I find these answers vague and I don't mean it in any negative sense, just I don't feel comfortable moving this site forward. And to get a letter from our building inspector like this.
But
Problem.
Ed, what am I
Problem.
supposed to do? I
What?
can't do any work on the site. I was about to build a house that was approved by you guys,
And we need to have, yeah, and you,
right? So I wouldn't even been in this spot if it wasn't approved to begin with.
you wouldn't be in this spot if you hadn't brought a plan that was not buildable to the town.
That was prior to, before I stepped in, but sure, that's fair to say.
So, I'd
It
like
was
to,
approved.
I don't know that
Bringing everything-
helps any of this, but I think that I agree with your point, having the engineer would hear, because my standing question for the last two meetings has been like, what is the additional impact of that foot? And I haven't gotten any clear answer as to what.
I'm not a
that is.
conservation guy. I don't know what the impact of a foot would do in between,
And so
30
that-
feet.
I think that's
you know?
probably why we need the site engineer to kind
But
of,
I know-
and also propose something to mitigate off of that.
Sure, I
You know,
agree.
I mean, we're not trying to hassle anybody, we're just trying to protect the wetland, and there's been a change that could materially impact it, but I can't quantify it because nobody's given me any type of calculations or math to say, this is what the impact of this change will be. It's only a foot. Well, I get that, it's only a foot, it sounds simple, right? But I don't have the engineering background to tell you that 1 foot doesn't create a whole bunch of ripple effect problems that is going to impact it. I would like to have something quantified as to what was approved and versus what is coming in, what's the additional impact, and how can we mitigate against that? And I think an engineer, to your point, Ed, would probably give us the ability to answer that. That was my question at last meeting, and I still don't have an answer to that, unfortunately.
So would you,
I'd like to get a continuation to bring the engineer in.
I'll see if he'll come.
Yes.
Huh?
He has to.
I mean, I can't drag him out of his house, but I mean, I can do what I can try to, maybe a phone call, maybe a Zoom or something. Would that work too? Or
No,
you want him in here?
right. Should go over the plan. It's a complete change in plan. It's going around Sturbridge bylaws to build something that's higher than it looks by burying it within the buffer zone all the way through. So, no, he's got to come in and, he knows that, how a roof is built. He knows what a rise and run are, and he can say, it's going to be, isn't it? He can say, well, it wouldn't be a flat roof, but, the slope might be X
On the roof?
on the roof. We've got options here. We can deny this tonight. Now, we don't want to do that.
No, I don't. It's just frustrating. I'm sorry. It's frustrating. It's very
It is.
frustrating.
It was frustrating when you guys cut down that tree that you weren't going to cut down,
Yeah,
right off the go.
right off the go. I swear. Yeah, it was. I hear you. And yeah.
So I would like a continuation to get him in, and if we could come up with,
solution?
solution.
Sounds good.
I have,
Yeah, unless we have anything from the public.
anybody in the public like to speak to this?
I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing until January 9th.
Second.
Yeah. All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Laura?
Someone in favor?
Roy?
Yep, Roy Bishop in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to bring,
So I think Jay said he was calling in.
Caller 3?
Hi, this is Jason DuBois, DC Engineering on the call.
all right.
Hi, Jake. This is Lauren. Question back to you was for 175 Cedar Street, if the septic, and the whole system can be moved back 5 or 10 feet.
Yep. So I did have a chance to look at that plan just now. I guess anything is possible that, could be done. The reason it's there now is it just fits around the kind of the curvature of the existing driveway, and it doesn't require any brush or any trees to be removed, and it's kind of avoiding the existing leach field that's in place now. We could push it up the hill a little bit. It would have to go away from the driveway, and potentially, I'm not sure it's over there for vegetation, but there is a tree line, as you get more to the abutter's property line, that may have to be trimmed out, or a tree may have to come down. I'm not exactly sure. And also, if you start picking it up too much more, it may require the system to, start to get built up out of the ground a little bit, which would require, some additional fill on the downhill side. Where right now it basically sits where existing grade remains as it is, so that there's really no filling or anything that would have to head downhill. But like I said, we could change it however the commission wanted. It's just each scenario might have a different obstacle, I guess.
I think the question, Jay, was specifically around kind of leaving the end of the system that's closest to the driveway, and then the end of the system that's furthest away from the driveway. Could it be angled back kind of over the existing leach field, right, or the existing system?
So kind of just turning it clockwise.
Yeah,
from that
just
top
turning it a
over.
little bit, not moving the entire thing, but angling the that out. And what type of material impact would there be to the project as we see it here?
So keep the lower end where it is, and then the D-box end would go up like 10 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be done. The only thing that would do is it's going to lift, the way that these systems are designed is it goes off the high elevation, the high existing elevation. So, by kicking that uphill, that one corner, you're leaving the lower corner where it is. So that the whole system would end up lifting up, 9 inches or a foot. Maybe not quite, but either way, the whole system would have to come up a foot. So now where that lower corner is, again, embedded in the ground, it may be like a foot out of the ground now. So it would, it just might require a little bit of, sloping into that tree line that's there. And again, that might not be an issue, but that's all it would change because of that.
So it sounds like if we keep it in the location where it is, the current grade remains as it is. If it moves, the grade is going to have to change, and then there's a possibility of tree removal.
I think by far the least amount.
Yeah, it would be a lot. I'm just saying, you are going to have to probably slope a little bit on that lower corner, because that lower corner would be a foot higher now.
1 foot.
Are there any trees that in current plan as it is right now, are there any trees that are planned to be removed?
No.
No.
No, as it sits now, it sits right in the existing, lawn, area that's there.
If you move that, my memory tells me that if you move that 10 feet on the lower side there,
This
right
is the
here,
grade line right here.
and you spun that 10 feet, you are not going to hit a tree.
But do you want to bring the elevation up and add fill?
Yeah, that you have to. 10 inches to a foot.
Yeah,
Leave it where it is, and then there's no fill.
Yeah, which is close to the wetland and is going to have a quicker impact on the wetland.
But adding a foot in the outer edge of the buffer
Yeah.
of fill, kind of the conversation we were just having, is just further away.
Right.
And then I've got to fill behind that.
Yeah, so adding a foot will increase runoff, that it will go faster into the wetland
That's what it sounds
than
like.
into. So,
Now I have to fill behind the system, as if you're bringing the whole thing up a foot, it's not only filling the downhill side, now I have to fill behind the system as well.
My recommendation is to leave it where it is because it's gonna be less alteration to the existing versus changing the grade a foot.
Okay. But are we at a point here?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with, as it is, with the request.
Yeah.
If you get on site and you see that it can be moved, we'd appreciate it if you were to move it however you can outside of the.
And what is Santa Claus bringing you for Christmas?
I get it, but I
I
also,
move it back 5
it's
feet-
gotta be balanced, because at the end of the day, if we move it and we raise it, and then we create additional runoff, and the velocity of the water heading into the wetland.
We already did that with the last one.
No, we didn't approve
No,
it.
I was
we
on
didn't
that.
approve that. We didn't approve that.
Like, if I can move it back 5 feet and it doesn't raise the elevation of the system at all, I will. I mean, it doesn't matter to me
Yeah.
where it goes, really, you know what I mean?
So, unless there's anything from the public, I'd like to make a motion to close the
I
public
have to
hearing.
ask the public.
Okay.
Anybody in the public like to speak on this issue? Or have a hold your peace. All right,
With regards to the project at 175 Cedar Street, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Austin Stuber in favor?
Laura?
Center Money,
Roy?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Okay, and Ned Goodwin in favor. Do I have a motion?
Yes, with regards to the project at 175 Cedar Street, SEC file number 25-39, I'd like to make a motion to issue a negative determination pursuant to the Wetland Protection Act, valid for 3 years, with the conditions that are laid out in the detailed agenda. You're okay with all of those?
Yes.
And I don't see a bond.
We haven't
Request-
been doing bonds on RDAs.
Okay.
'Cause there's no.
Maybe we should consider that on septic systems or, but, okay. Then, yeah, I'll close my motion then.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Are you including that 5 feet that he's promising?
I've asked him to do it. It's a good faith request, Ed. I'm okay with it as it is, for the points that we've already discussed.
All right,
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Austin Stuber in favor?
Center Money in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
and Ned Goodwin in favor.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, guys.
Appreciate you getting.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Jay, thank you.
Hey, Jay.
That's no problem.
At some point next week.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Want to do Paradise Lane again?
Oh, Lord, no. It's already 7 o'clock. We've gotten through 2.
All right, we are now public hearing, continued public hearing for 1 Old Sturbridge Village Road. Continue the public hearing for the notice of intent, vegetation, management at Mill Pond and Quinnebog River Reservoir, DEP file number 300-1205.
Nope. Cannot hear you.
Says her mic's on.
Yeah.
Maybe dial in and call in.
No.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear
Hi.
you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yep. Oh, now we can't. You just muted yourself. On your phone, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to touch anything else. Okay, so I'm here from TRC. My name is Morgan Coco, and I'm on behalf of Old Sturbridge Village. So I've been here a couple times, but once again, we're trying to treat the exotic invasive plants, sandwort and variable leaf milfoil. Since I've left, come and spoke at a meeting, which was a couple months ago, there's been a couple updates. So I did speak to the Pond and Lake Connection, which is our treatment company that we tend to use. I talked to them about what kind of herbicide, so we're hoping for Sonar, which is a systemic herbicide. So that kind of works within the plant to kill through the roots through absorption rather than a spot treatment, which kills plants upon contact. So through that, less native plants, if any, would be affected by a treatment. And once again, the goal of this whole treatment in general is to get rid of these exotic plants that are kind of choking out both of the ponds. We do have a number of native plants, and we would be mapping after the treatment to confirm that everything went okay. We also did some water quality results in October that I sent to the commission, so I can see that everything's looking good. That is our proposed treatment map, which is just over 7.5 acres. The whole area is close to 15, even closer to 16 acres. So we're treating less than 50% of the whole area. So we have that, and then, yeah, pretty much the new updates. We have a treatment map, and we talked to the contractor, and we also have water quality visit, which shows that everything's looking good in both ponds.
So Morgan, you said you're going to be monitoring the native plants to make sure that nothing went wrong. What happens if something goes wrong?
Well, they would go back, definitely, but in the number of years I've done treatments like this, then I haven't seen any problems. We're just trying to track what plants stayed throughout the treatment, but because we're not treating the full lake, then all the plants there would definitely be plants, I would say. We're just kind of more doing it for the tracking purposes of seeing what's going to be left in the lake once we hopefully eradicate a lot of this exotic invasive plant.
Okay. And I'm sure you read the detailed agenda and saw Lauren's note about the drought being declared and the impact on the monitoring being done after the drought was declared and how that might impact your calculations.
The detailed agenda was not posted online from what I could see. So no, I've not seen that now.
So, well, I guess I'll ask the question for her then. With the state issuing and declaring the drought effective in September, and the fact that you did your monitoring in October, obviously a drought is not normal baseline to kind of do a study off of that. What would you say to the concern that we have that the fact that we're in a drought condition would somehow skew the calculations that were done in October?
Yeah, so we did our monitoring on October 1st, so not too far into October. I don't think it should have affected any of the water quality data. If anything, the water levels would have just been a little lower. But in general, it shouldn't have changed anything. And everything was well within range for what we're looking for. So I don't think it would have done anything.
Okay. Lauren, you called it out. I'm just,
So DEP is issuing more guidance on the impacts of the drought condition, and there's a call next week. We haven't received, well, pretty much the only guidance that we have received is being cautious on any activities on lakes, any delineations of wetlands that are being taken during the drought season. So I cannot say what the change would be. Water quality is not my area of expertise as far as what the impact would be, if it would increase, change the dissolved oxygen levels or anything else from the data that we already have. So I'm awaiting more guidance next week on how that may impact.
Morgan, as a practical matter, when's this work scheduled to be done?
We're not going until the middle or early of next summer, usually June.
Okay, so if we were to wait for some guidance on this and just table this, there's not going to be any impact to.
There will not be impact. I have been coming to these meetings this June, so I would love to wrap this up if possible, but I understand it. We're waiting on guidance, but yeah, this will not be happening for only a few more months.
Oh, I agree with you, Morgan. We don't like continuing, but if the agent has a legitimate concern and we have the ability to utilize the runway we have in front of us, I think we need to at least consider it.
Okay. I do understand your concern. I just think I would just the measurements so early in October, it would not have changed anything, but yes, I completely understand.
Okay. Anybody have any
There
questions?
was some comment on DEP regarding abutters notification. Lauren, is that
On which
needed
comment?
still?
Sorry. chopped them all.
DEP said.
The first comment for DEP, it appears that no abutters were notified on this project.
We confirmed with about a month ago that there was no abutters. If that
Yes.
helps.
So the activity was not occurring within the location of any abutters.
Say again, Laura.
The location of the project of where the activity has occurred. So in these areas,
Don't have-
OSV is their only abutter. They are their own abutter.
All right. So we're looking for continuation.
Unless anyone else has
Right.
any comments, and
Anybody in the audience have any comments?
Just logically, just humor me for a moment. In a drought situation, water quality is worse, right? Right, so
typically.
if the water quality
You can't-
has been tested in a worse situation, right? I mean, and if we were comfortable with the water quality numbers as they sit, they're only going to improve when the drought is no longer in place, right?
There are cases where you're wrong.
I think there's a lot of other factors.
kills- if it-
Well, I mean, that's an absolute all the time, but.
No, I didn't mean it that way. I'm saying if you're trying to kill off an invasive
Yeah,
and a drought kills them off, that's a confusing message. You wouldn't know that message.
I got you. Okay.
Why don't we
I'm
wait?
just trying to give Morgan a little bit of time, to work on other things.
Why
okay.
don't we move to continue?
That's what we're working toward.
You think the 9th you'll have some guidance?
You want to do the 9th, other than that, it'd be February 20th or March 13th, but 9th would be fine. That guidance from DEP's next week.
Okay. Is January 9th okay with you, Morgan?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing until January 9th, 2025.
Lauren,
So
you think that
I mean,
another month would be relevant? Are we going to get to the 9th and want to go to February?
Depending on that, I don't know what the outcome of the DEP conference next week is.
Yeah.
But they
Would
would
it
have,
be possible to address, sorry, like in the detailed agenda, there are like a lot of points, Lauren. Would it be possible to get those addressed before the meeting so that then we can move this forward easily for next time? I don't know if maybe Morgan can get a copy of the detailed agenda to get into those points, even if they are not applicable because they don't.
All the comments are the same. I haven't changed the comments on the detailed. The only thing that I changed was just that final comment on the water quality with the traffic. Everything else is all the other comments that the staff notes and the DEP comments have been there. The one we took away was we had asked what the use of the lake was. And when we had OSV here for that other project, for the barn project, they were able to address that for us and saying that it wasn't used for recreation.
Right.
Thank you.
Would it be more clear, Flora, if we just put, if maybe we could have Aaron add a note to the detailed agenda, like settled or cleared or discussed or whatever?
I can add that.
So, yeah, because I've had the same, I'm like, I think we've talked about this.
Yeah,
Yep.
you published it, right?
What's that?
You gave it to us in writing.
Detailed.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that, and she,
It was not posted.
oh, it wasn't posted?
I checked a little while ago.
Okay.
I was out of the office today, and Aaron's been up the last 2 days.
How
No,
dare you do work? All right, so I think I have a motion on the table to continue the public hearing until January 9th.
second.
any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
German in favor?
Bishop in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor. Thank you, Morgan. We'll see you on the 9th. All right. Now we're at 274 Big Allen, continuation of the public hearing for a notice of intent dredging activity within former boat notch, DEP file number 300-1186.
For the record, I am recused from this discussion.
Hi, Jenny, how you doing?
Good evening, everybody.
Okay, please introduce yourself to the audience. So-
Ginny Rossioli, owner of 274 Big Alum. I believe at the last meeting, the commission had some questions, and they were referred to Mark Levine, which I believe he and Lauren met, sat down, and he presented this new drawing. It includes the construction sequence, stockpile area, the work area with the erosion controls, including the netting.
All right, you want to?
I think at this point, the only discussion would just be, it's the proposal is removing 2 feet of sediment, and I think just the only thing is, what happens if we go out there and it's 4 feet? But other than that, we've got the proposed erosion controls. I've recommended conditions for the stability of the area, recommended conditions that if, they dig out all the sediment and it turns out that the existing retaining wall is in disrepair, that a separate notice of intent is going to have to be filed. The work's going to be done during the seasonal drawdown. We have not discussed opportunity for any planting. It is well vegetated outside of the area, immediately around it there is not, but that has not been a discussion that we've had. Does require Chapter 91 filing. I think adding a condition that we'd receive a copy of the Chapter 91 for our files as well. Any additional alterations prohibited, and recommending a condition that no additional disturbance within the 25-foot would be done for this project, and that condition would continue into perpetuity.
Okay. Can't look at Eric. Eric?
Yeah, you can look at me.
Carson.
Can I respond to any of this?
Is there any advantage to digging it up rather than leaving it as it is?
Before you get to that question, yeah, go ahead and respond. I think that's fine, no problem.
I too just got the detailed agenda when I walked in. Lauren was good enough to give me a call and let me know that she'd have it tonight. So there were some questions that I have. We seem to be focusing on dredging, and one of the conditions you said something about if the walls needed repairing. Part of the original application included repairing any walls that were damaged as we remove the debris. This is not just removing and dredging, it's restoring the shoreline walls. Certainly, I have no problem coming back and saying, okay, and having you come look and say, okay, this is where we are, but I'm not sure we would need to do a complete new application. I mean, just like any other project.
Depend on the condition.
I agree.
If you don't know for certain what you're gonna dig up, and if all of a sudden you remove the sediment and the whole wall just collapses in, that's
Yeah, obviously the netting, we would
right.
not allow that to happen. But I think part of the proposal is, again, not just the dredging. We know there are rocks missing because the rocks have fallen in from the wall. I mean, we've looked at it, we've seen that. So I, if it's a minor repair, I would hope that we could continue that under this application. More than happy to have you come out and take a look if that's what, we run into. So I'm just concerned about the wording there. Again, it wasn't just dredging, it was restoring that notch.
Okay.
Like a shoreline wall. It was a shoreline wall repair. We have talked about that pretty extensively.
All right, now we're to you, Carson.
Is there any advantage to repairing it rather than leaving it as it is, environmentally wise? I mean,
I think we've been over and over that with Ecotech. They consider it, he's a wetland scientist, an enhancement to the entire resource area, as opposed to continuing to have buildup of sediment going in there, erosion going in there. The fact that it is a man-made structure that has fallen in there. I mean, that's why I hired him, was because you did have that question and concern.
you are satisfied with that?
It's similar to back when we were talking with the big pipes and lead mine, that they've been there for so long that is it more disturbance to dig it up versus just leaving it where it is? In hindsight, when everything had started collapsing and just maintaining it, but if there's, contaminated materials or hazardous debris in there, but DEP didn't quantify this as restoration. That's kind of where I would fall back to it on.
And I think Chairman Goodwin said at the last meeting that I attended that it was a wash in terms of the removal of any habitat and then having a wall that is porous. No bells? No bells?
Sorry, or I'm sure it's some portion of that, I don't know. My position on it, just so that to be honest, I am, the two things. First, to answer Carson's question, the more man involves himself in anything that's natural, the worse off the natural thing is, regardless of what the current belief in that area is. I look at this and I say, what the heck, one way we can go is to repair the wall, period. I mean, that's honestly a way that you can vote. But another way you can vote is that she is dredging the lake and restoring a wall. There is no grandfathering of this whatsoever. Nobody has said this is grandfatherable. It was real, it existed. I don't question any of what you brought in, but it's not grandfatherable. You can't go dig in a lake any way you want. And lots of stuff that people have in front of their, since I've been on the commission, twice, people have come before us. I didn't vote for these things either, I'm just telling you. I voted against them. And they have straightened the lake out across the old boat notch and filled it. And I voted against it, and the commission voted for it. And that's the way I feel with this now. If it was a wall repair without dredging, I would have no problem with it.
Have you seen a wall repair done without any kind of digging to, or some kind of removal of sediment or material in order to get the rocks?
The wall repairs at the lakefront.
Right.
Normally, in fact, we've got one going, yeah. It's usually the wash that causes the need for the repair. So it's washing the motorboats,
right.
The motorboat wash that you
Right.
deal with all the time. So.
And just as a reminder, Ed, Karsten, and Roy are the only ones that can vote on this. Floor cannot vote on this.
I mean, Roy said something.
Why not?
She was not here when this opened.
So we-
She's missed multiple meetings, so.
There's only three of you.
We need a vote from all three
If let this
on,
guy be in.
I need a vote from all three on, if you're gonna close this, a vote from all three on the waiver for the disturbance within the 25, and then the additional motions. So if you're gonna close this out tonight, that's what I would need. The waiver first.
What do you recommend we do? I don't like our options.
I mean, if somebody could say that the walls as it is kind of poisons the water at the moment.
My recommendation would be, unless there's anything else that can be provided to you that would, make this better in your eyes, or some information that you have not received that would be beneficial to this project, continue again. But if you feel that you have all the information that you need, I would recommend that you just move forward and close the hearing and vote on the waiver, and then vote on everything else.
I think, we've done everything you've asked.
Right, I mean,
Except for the fact that you're pushing to build a notch for a boat. You're putting a man-made structure back on Big Allen, and that is a problem. It's stupid as that seems, and it is stupid. But that's the, I don't know, there's a Maginot Line on everything.
Well, then I guess the alternative, like you said, is can I then continue the shoreline so the garbage stops coming into the boat notch, the dead fish and everything else, as well as the big waves don't come in, and, can I do that?
Well, you're asking me. The two things that I would allow you to do would be to shape the boat notch with a wall without excavation, or put the wall across the front, the way it was prior to the boat notch being built, which is, and that's
I don't
just
know
my...
if there's any information on that. Yeah, then you'd
Right,
ask,
they've gone straight across in the two
Right,
cases
but
that I'm
right now where
aware
it
of.
would be, that would be filling a wetland and a replication would be
Absolutely,
required.
absolutely. Yep. That's why I didn't vote for it, but
But you could put in some boulders there, right? Some bigger boulders so that it doesn't wash up.
Still is gonna require,
Well, it would require, but
A
doesn't seem to be
plan
that much of a change.
it's still gonna be considered fill.
Roy, what do you think?
Roy, last time you said something about getting some kind of environmental evaluation.
We received that.
we've done that.
Can we, I mean, how specific is that evaluation? Was that one that we ordered, or?
No, it was not a peer review, it was, hired by the applicant.
Is it on, I think I read it, but it was not
It'd be on
very,
the it's on the
Was
last
not ve-
detailed.
it wasn't very long, right?
I know that I cannot vote on this. I just want to point out in terms of what you were saying, like getting like a wall in front. I would be, I particularly wouldn't like that because that will be basically filling and creating a shoreline that is not a natural shoreline. I'm wondering if a way of the main problem here, as I see it, is that the wetland that has been formed because of the falling of this world very long time ago, that the land tries to go to its natural state. That's what happens. You leave a structure abandoned, and the nature will take over. So now, as I see it now, it's more of a natural state than a human state. So the next step, in order to make it so that garbage or fish don't appear there, for me will be more of a wetland restoration, maybe planting some wetland species in the area so that it is not just a pile of mud as it might be seen right now. So that is kind of like my recommendation of how to solve this problem that for the applicant seems to be more of an eyesore. That's how I'm understanding the problem as it is. Just I wanted like to give this comment.
So essentially constructing it as a BVW,
And what?
Water
vegetated wetland.
Can I just quote from Paul McManus, the wetland scientist, his email to Lauren from September 27th, 2024? The work satisfies the regulatory performance standards for the resource areas where work is proposed. Bank and land underwater bodies and waterways at 310 CMR 10:54 and 10:56 respectively. The performance standards for these resource areas are quite similar and consist of the requirement that there be no negative impact to stability, water carrying capacity, water quality, fisheries habitat, important wildlife habitat functions. He said previous to that, the proposed work represents an enhancement and does not trigger a wildlife habitat evaluation. Similarly, because no fill in the water of the U.S. is proposed, there is no trigger for a 401 water quality certification, and a 401 permit application is not required. He sees it as an enhancement. He's a well-known, well-respected wetland scientist.
But it's still dredging.
dredging obviously is not necessarily a bad thing all the time,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah. But we don't have the authority to allow it.
Okay.
We really don't. If we're gonna, and there are always, all wetland scientists have an opinion on what is enhancing and what is not. So really, we had 3 votes.
Your first, well, other than closing, first vote would be closing the hearing, second vote would be on the waiver. And if the waiver is not accepted, then the permit can't be issued if you don't authorize the disturbance within the 25-foot.
Yep, I know. I know. That I know. That's why I don't want to close the public hearing. But
But what's gonna change and what do you want
I want,
different? It's,
I want you to come back with a neatness package. No boat notch. Just wall repair where they are. That would be my, I don't know, and I can't tell you that I can get the rest of these guys to.
so a plan that would show essentially a new wall formed without any dredging activity.
Right.
And any fill?
No fill, no
No dredging.
Because you can use the rocks for the wall.
So then the rocks can't be removed.
What?
Then the rocks inside there can't be removed.
They can be removed, yes.
They can be.
You just can't dredge.
Okay.
Some of them they just dumped in there. They weren't a part of the original deal
They were the original stone walls of the boathouse.
of the sides. Yeah.
Right, and they just fell in.
Yeah.
So those could be removed.
I would say so, yeah. As far as taking rocks out, I would say that
What about the mat that is on top of it?
nope, just leave it. That would be, my feeling would be that the way to handle it would be to,
But you know the water goes underneath that, and the mat goes up and down.
believe me, if you take the rocks out, something will change. But if you just put the wall back and you just stick with that as your objective right now, and you go in and put it where it was, not to a dimension, but to where it is.
I would need some help visualizing that and seeing what exactly you mean
You
by
got
that.
some old pictures of the boathouse.
Right. But that's what we were working within, Ed, is the same
Yeah,
parameter.
but, you know, I think there was some artist alliteration there.
In the picture?
Yeah, to the drawings. But at any rate, that, I would, that's all I could see that this commission could possibly do, and I'm not promising that, I'm just saying that's my opinion.
And you're saying, using the original outline,
Yeah,
the rocks could be
Just-
removed?
not removing the rocks, but putting the outline back, putting the wall back.
But that's exactly what I am asking to do.
No, but you're asking to dredge and make a structure.
I'm only asking to pull out the rocks that are in there and the debris on
It's not
top.
the way, it's not the way that it comes across. You shouldn't be satisfied, if you get through this and you're satisfied that you can drive a powerboat in there, then that's not really what I'd be looking for.
But I agree that
more along
that
the
should
li-
be what's possible, because the draft on a inland waterway boat does not exceed 24 inches,
Well,
18 inches.
yeah,
My boat's not as big as your boat.
That's an old story. I don't know. That's where I stand on it.
I'm having trouble trying to understand what you're.
Me too.
I'm just trying to figure out how you'd remove the rocks without removing the sediment. Some of them, yes, but maybe like.
Well, then you're going
Love
into, you're
pictures.
putting,
For the leaves that are there, you know, that's part of the drawdown process. People rake up leaves and stuff that fall into the lake,
yeah, you're right.
right?
So that's fair. I wouldn't argue with that.
So if I didn't, you know, now there's absolutely zero water there
Yeah.
because it's at its full drawdown. That's all I'm asking to do is exactly what you're saying.
No.
So Ed, you're thinking, so like these rocks here, you would want those removed?
I mean,
So how far does that whole thing go?
Because right now with these big rocks here, that's a better wave break than this.
yeah, it is, and it's angled, which makes it even better. But that's not what you want.
No, I'm just trying to,
So how,
when if the applicant decides to go back to her project manager again to draw a new concept of a plan, and I receive this plan, I just want to be able to understand what you're looking for, so I can say, yes, this is what he's looking for. No, I mean, I can send it, obviously, and go through the meeting, but to try and keep it moving.
Well, see, there are places where rocks have fallen out,
Yes.
Yes.
okay? If you found somebody that likes rocks.
I
they
do.
could- What? They
I love
could-
rocks.
They could pick you could pick the actual rock that, on my stone walls, when I first came to Sturbridge, I could find the rock that went where it had been moved, and that's not,
Mark Levine is very good at that.
what?
Mark Levine is extremely good at
Yeah.
that. But there's also, as you come in further up toward where that you can see the boards there, there's water that you can see and rocks that you can see there. And I think that's what Lauren and I are saying. When that's dry, can I take those out too? I'm not looking to dig. I think that's not what's in my mind.
Yeah.
It's just getting the garbage out. See? There, Lauren, that last photo was a good shot.
Right.
Right there. See?
I see this as a problem of coastal erosion. That led to get to the natural state, and the objective of this project, as it was posed, was to restore, was a restoration project, a restoration of the coastline, and avoidance of garbage and dead fish. So I think the objectives that are posed are good. The way of doing it, maybe that's the problem. So if there are different ways of restoring the shoreline or stabilizing the shoreline so that it avoids those problems that were mentioned and is restoring the shoreline. So maybe I recommend looking into that instead of going back into a wall or going back into something that is an artificial structure in the wetland. It's my recommendation. Again, I cannot vote on this, so it's a recommendation from a perspective of trying to maintain and restore the shoreline as it was the objective of this project.
Yeah.
Flo, are you saying that those rocks could be pulled back out and made into a natural shoreline within that parameter, something like that? Is that as opposed to a horizontal perpendicular 45-degree angle wall?
There are different ways of doing shoreline restoration. Some of them involve the revegetating the area with the natural vegetation. I forward Lauren one study. Maybe that's something that could be discussed with with whoever is going to be doing this, or maybe it requires a little bit more discussion of what project will be suitable to solve the problem that you're having.
No, I'm open to that.
I know that.
You know, a pile of natural shoreline rocks. I'm open to that. Are you open to that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be kind of, you dump them into the water.
Right.
I'm
Well,
fine
no,
with
just
that.
pull some of them out where everything gets caught, so that I have a shoreline very similar to the rest of my shoreline with just a very small exception.
So then you would give up the boat notch.
That's a yes and a no. What the part that would be given up is this part, right? Because I'd be pulling this stuff out.
Oh, I thought you would put it this way, and so you would have a shoreline that way. So I mean, depending where the shoreline is, right? I mean, you want to pull it to where the boathouse was. And
Well, originally, yeah, that was the thought, because there is a wall there.
but you could
I just
also,
don't know what condition that wall is in,
right,
because there's water underneath, and the water flow is in there,
Yeah.
but you could probably avoid getting the dead
except
fish.
during the downtime, the down season.
Fish in by just putting some barrier there in front. I don't know. But, I mean,
Yeah, no, I'm keeping my mouth shut because I don't know how to go. But as I say, I would not fight a wall repair. Your point about during drawdown, being able to clean out
Right.
behind the walls, everybody does it. I have no problem with that. I'm afraid of the word notch, a boat notch.
Okay, that was a DEP word,
Yeah.
yeah.
It scares me. Man's tendency to, make things neat and shiny.
Did my property look neat and shiny?
Yeah, I think it probably looks great. But you've done a lot of really great things with it, with the rocks. But
Right.
so how do we move this along? Roy, you got any military advice for us?
you could buy your engineer a living shoreline.
No, I think you discussed it perfectly.
Yeah.
So what are you leaning towards, Roy?
I'd like to get a continuation. I'd like you to come back with a softened version of what you're looking for.
Okay,
And see if we can find some
common ground.
common ground.
So unless someone wants to make a
Yep.
motion to continue or make a different motion, if you decide to make a motion to continue, I would recommend February 20th or March 13th for a revised plan, because Mark's gonna have to go out with the holidays coming. I don't know.
On January 9th,
Okay.
I might be skiing there.
February?
Well, if he has to do revised plans right with two major holidays
might
right
be
in the
able to
middle,
go,
go
but-
back out to the site. We have to go back out to the site.
January 9th, I might not be here, so.
Okay.
All right, let's make it, what, February what?
I think 20th, you said?
February 20th.
Okay.
Could I ask that you do come out now and take a look
Yeah.
while it's drawdown and tell me what you have in mind, and before Mark gets, drawing
We'll
again?
make our next site visit, we'll.
Okay.
Anyone want to make a motion?
This month?
Sorry, it's just a logistic thing.
What?
Just a logistic thing. If the project is not going to be a dredging activity within former boat notch, there was the original one. Should it be refined, or that's fine? It's just a question of logistics that I don't know.
We're gonna
My
have this-
original verbiage was restoration and repair of a shoreline wall.
Well, the original, yeah, and then DEP came back and said that it didn't meet the qualifications for restoration, so I think that when we receive a revised plan, we're gonna have to send it back to DEP, because this is kind of,
We already said we had to do that anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just mentioning, because if it's going to be a completely different project, then if it's filed again, like there is going to be, like I would be able to vote. While if it's continuing, even if it's a completely different project,
Yeah,
I won't
that's
be able
another
to.
question. Should we close this public hearing and reopen it so that everybody can vote?
If you do, re-advertisement and notification to abutters, you can vote to close the hearing and then open it again on the 20th with a abutter notification and legal advertisement.
Do you want to do that?
Not really.
Okay.
You'd
All
have
right,
that
I
extra
just-
vote.
You might have better,
You'd have 4 people that,
you might have 5 people or 4 people, yeah.
4 or 5 instead of 3.
Yeah. All right, it's your call.
I don't think it's necessary, because that was my original intent, is what you're
But it still
talking about.
might not meet the qualifications of a restoration project, though.
That's my verbiage.
Yeah, I think.
What was on the
Everybody
on the
uses different
NOI
semantics.
application? It was checked off as ecological restoration.
Right.
So
But you said that was the wrong form, but I'm not even.
no, that was
sure.
the Chapter 91 form was the wrong form for your NOI application. You checked off that this was for an ecological restoration project, and then
Okay.
DEP came back and said this does not qualify as ecological restoration. So that's off the table. That it's not. We're not. While we can use the term in conversation, for technical purposes, it is not restoration.
All right, I'd like a continuation.
What does DEP think it is?
Dredging,
Okay.
what was proposed.
Just to clarify too, Becky did whatever information went to DEP, other than my original Chapter 91 simplified license. I did that, she did the other stuff. And my Chapter 91 simplified license, DEP responded with no issues.
Okay.
Just to be clear.
Yeah. I hear you. To be clear again, dredging isn't going to get by this committee.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but
Okay, all
that
right.
was not my intent
Okay.
to dredge. My intent was to use my word, restore.
Yeah. Continuation.
I can't help you.
Oh, I move to,
I can make them.
No,
ahead.
Laura can't make the motion. It has to be Roy, Karsten, and Ed.
Carsten, would you like to?
yeah, I have to find the, okay. I want to make a motion to move the project at 274 Big Alum Road, DEP file number 31186, to the February 20th meeting? Was that?
February 20th.
Yep.
Do I have a second?
Roy,
I second that.
All in favor?
Eric Gaspar abstain.
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Edgar in favor.
Or Bishop in favor.
Or abstains?
Flora abstains. Thank you.
Sandra, I cannot vote.
Okay, thank you.
Now, we are at 469A.
Yeah, item number 5.
Okay. Continue the public hearing. The notice of intent, construction of a new gravel trail and pedestrian walk bridge, DEP file number 300-1212. How you doing?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
Good.
Good to see everyone. My name is Aaron Sabs. I'm with Time Bond. We are representing the town of Sturbridge and the Sturbridge Trails Committee on this project. After our previous hearing, we conducted a site visit where we looked at the proposed fence location and the the clearing and abutment location on the south side of the Quinnebog River. I did see the staff notes and agent recommendations in the detailed agenda, and don't think there are any issues or anything in there on my end. And I believe Tom is Tom Chamberlain online. I'm guessing.
Hey, Tom. Tom Chamberlain.
Tom, you're muted if you're talking.
That's okay.
Oh, we don't really need that. Let's go.
Alright.
Yeah. So,
We've pretty much addressed everything. The only thing that we really need to go on is it was brought up in the site visit of having some breakaways in the chain link fence for wildlife passage. I know, Floor sent something out. I don't know if anyone got a chance to look at it. I only
did.
skimmed it. I did some as well, and it, recommended that, a deer can jump a 5-foot fence, but spacing was at 150 yards. Floor, I don't recall what yours had said in the spacing, but.
Yes, so mostly the height of the fence, so that animals can jump it, like deer. Like they started was in Montana, so there was a lot of animals that were not applicable to this area, but at least deer could jump. And then having openings, I don't think they have a distance between openings, but maybe we can have specify something. I really. This is not like for me, and I think that the applicants will not have a problem with this. So I'm happy to discuss the distance of these openings later on. But having some openings in between the chain links so that other animals that cannot jump can pass through, like bobcats and foxes and things like that.
I think I was going through some different wildlife passage resources, and the recommendation is 150 yards, which I think this is only 200 feet of fence.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think if it's at a 5-foot fence, that's perfectly suitable, that things can jump it, and there's plenty of spaces on either side for it to go around. We discussed the limit of clearing. The limit of clearing is pretty evident. I think that was the only other concerns, and
I found Floor's, a lot of tragedies in Floor's little video there. Holy mackerel.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of sad. Yeah. Thanks, Floyd.
it's like half the highways in Jersey. But those, those are my recommendations. Everything else has been resolved at this point.
Seeing none, like to make a motion?
No comments? No. I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
And German in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
And Ed Gooder in favor. All right.
With regards to the project at 469A Main Street, DEP file number 300-1212, I'd like to make a motion to approve a waiver for work within the 25 and 50-foot buffer zone.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
And German in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Great.
With regards to the project at 469A Main Street, DEP file number 300-1212, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project with the conditions outlined by the agent in the detailed agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
And German in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Gooder in favor.
With regards to the project at 469A Main Street, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project under the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw with the additional conditions laid out in the detailed agenda, specifically pointing out the security bond in form of bond or deposit to the town of Sturbridge in the amount of $10,000 to hold a surety for satisfactory completion of the work.
Second.
Any discussion? The only thing that I would say is under the staff notes, the breaks in the fence you have every 50 years.
Not feet.
Instead of feet.
Shows where my head was.
And you'll still be here, so in 50 years, you can remind Lauren. Lauren will be retired, but.
Yeah. All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Basil Stuba in favor.
Maureen, I think I would say something.
Lauren, can I just interrupt for a second? Do we want to do a bond because it's the town of Sturbridge project to the town of Sturbridge?
Well, it'd be from the contractor.
Okay, then that's fine.
Why would the contractor need to post the bond if we're managing and overseeing the project?
Same as any other projects, if your contractor walks away from you and the town is left completing the project, which happens, then we have money to complete the project if your contractor walks away.
All right. All in,
It's a $10,000 bond. Any contractor of any.
You're building a
substance.
bridge.
they broke in, we closed the public hearing, so.
Yeah, so Eric Gaspar in favor?
Basil Stuba in favor.
And Germany in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. All right, great.
Thank you. And just for my understanding, so would you like an updated drawing showing
With
the
the
fence with
fence?
the breaks?
Yes,
You
please.
can- Okay, just submit that directly.
But not with the brakes, just the 5 foot.
The 5 foot, okay.
Yeah. And put up barbed wire along the top and have an antelope caught in the barbed wire.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Oh, God. We saw a video that sent to all the different fences and problems with
Caught.
All right, we are now, number 6, 149 Arnold Road, notice of intent, construction of a new single-family home, DEP file number 300-1216. How you doing?
Good, how are you guys?
Good.
Hanging in there. Hanging in there.
Yeah.
Right.
That's DEP file 1212. What number was it when you first got on the board?
I don't know what the numbers were last
100 or-
week.
It was in the, double digits.
I think I remember the 200 and 300s.
I remember the 2 and 3. I don't know, there was a lot of stuff going on then, right? Yeah.
I'm Mark Farrow, Green Hill Engineering. I'm the applicant's representative. At the last meeting, the board and the agent had asked for some changes, and one was to kind of tighten in the area of disturbance a little bit, so it just kind of follows the driveway, so leave this area here in its natural state. The second was the grading of the driveway to see if we could do something so the water didn't run into Arnold Road. So what I did is I have a grade so it's pitched this way towards the woods to allow that water to run off the side of the driveway and into the woods. And the last thing I did is I put an earthen berm down at the base of the driveway here to kind of slow the water down, so it encouraged it to infiltrate here before going back out into the road. And I did a berm there because that's something you can just put in kind of in a natural area, not have to clear all the vegetation. You can just put a slight berm there and it forms a depression, and you can leave the natural vegetation and soils to absorb the water.
Okay.
and I think there was a minor, I don't think I had either the 25 or the 50, and I added those on here, so here's the 50, so basically, there's no structures within the 50, there's no disturbance except for this kind of earthen berm here, but can be put in without taking down the vegetation, the trees.
So where did you tighten up the little limit of work? I know you pointed, but I don't.
The limit of work prior followed this straw wattle line here.
Yeah.
And this is the new proposed limit of work, so
Oh,
just,
the dash, okay.
yeah, sorry,
Thank
just
you.
tightens it up.
That's fine.
didn't get it either.
Okay, I mean, I was like,
I didn't get it either.
all right. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. That makes,
Thanks for
that
asking
makes
the
sense. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes me,
Yeah.
no, that's.
I
that's-
should color all my lines now. I mean, in the old days, you couldn't color things. You had to manually do it with the computer, though. I mean, I got the nice blue lines here for the wetlands, but,
Yeah, okay. That makes,
All right.
it wasn't labeled limit of work, so I didn't see that. So, okay, but that's helpful. Thank you. Thank you for making the changes. Lauren, DEP had made the comment, did we deal with this at the last meeting, or was this new, that does not contain the wetland delineation
We
report?
do not have the delineation report, no. And
Do you feel-
we
with
just
the-
got this plan today, so I'm just I don't have comments yet, because I'm still just looking at it, but.
Well, I guess
Does it
my
meet the driveway
question is-
requirements now?
excuse me?
Does it meet the driveway requirements now?
Yes,
Because I
it
know that
does,
was Heather's
12%
comment
grade.
before.
It's 12% grade going up, so 12% grade going up, and I have it pitched. There's a slight, the driveway's not crowned, so it's pitched this way towards the open woodland area.
So I guess my question to you, Lauren, is with DEP's comments and with the reduction of impact by pulling in the limit of work, are we as concerned as we were before? Because we're not really, other than at that very end where, the driveway is what it is, not even coming close to encroaching on the 25-foot in that front area.
Well, now we're going in the 25-foot here.
But no, that's the exception. But
Right.
it was significantly more.
I could tighten this up a little bit and just keep the berm out of the 25-foot.
Okay, good. I was gonna ask you, and then I said I'd let you say it if it wasn't a problem for trees or whatever was in that area, so,
Would it have the same effect?
yeah.
Excuse me?
Would it have the same effect in terms of water, keeping the water down?
I'm
If you
sorry.
change the burn,
Um,
would it have the same effect
Yeah.
in terms
So,
of?
yeah.
Keeping the water off of Arnold Road?
Yeah.
I think that's what he's asking.
Yeah. I mean, basically, it would just be a berm, it'd almost be like a dam.
But even if
These
you,
soils over here are very porous, and these woods here, so anything that kind of runs off, I don't think it's gonna collect at all.
so even if
It's
you
not a
change it,
lawn, it's not a, a heavily trafficked area, it's just woods undisturbed, so they'll be like a sponge.
All right.
You have the roof disconnections on here?
I don't, but they can just, let the water just run this way, and basically it's just gonna soak back into the woods and slowly feed the wetland area.
You're all waiting on me to say something? I'm just trying to, I'm going back on my comments from before and making sure that everything, the roof disconnections, we wanted those shown on here. I'm glad that we're able to bring the limit of clearing in.
So
How tall is the berm?
I got a note up in there, I think I put it, it's
There we go.
2-foot wide berm, 1 foot above existing grade.
1 foot tonight.
Everything's a foot.
Or 10 inches.
10? Yeah, all right. That did come into
Can we
play.
just change the number to make it different? Okay. I'd want to show the downspouts on as-built. At least. But other than that, I think it satisfies all the comments.
So not the connections, but the downspouts? That's what you want to see?
About the stormwater treatment.
So what is your current thinking on downspouts? Yes or no?
Since Barnacle left, you mean? We don't have the...
Yeah, I mean, for a while it was drip line.
Yeah,
I
right.
wanted
That was Dave's thing. the
drip line, so I didn't know.
I think that splash guards are silly because they just get moved, especially by kids.
What?
The splash guards, like the built-in ones that you put underneath
Yeah.
any of the downspouts, I'd rather have gravel or stone. The number and the
So how's it gonna look
direction.
like? What kind of house?
What's that?
What kind of a house are they putting in?
What kind of roof?
Moderate house, I mean, it basic is for one of his children, so it's a small house.
I wasn't, besides what I'm saying, if the different houses have different drainage systems.
Different what?
Drainage systems, you know.
Yeah.
What kind of roof?
I would say a traditional roof, that the roof line would probably run right down this direction, I would guess. The long axis of the house. There might be a couple of gables or, dormers, but I would assume, I mean, normally I don't ask to see
Yeah.
I'm more concerned about the foundation plan and where the driveway's gonna be and the garage and what are they trying to do there, so.
No, but you asked about type of drainage systems, so.
Right.
Which is a function of type of,
Yeah. I mean, if you,
What's the total square footage of the house?
this is probably 24 or 22, so it's probably 48 foot long by, this is probably 32 or 36.
Okay.
I mean, if they did put gutters on, you'd obviously want to discharge them in kind of over here somewhere, downhill side of the house. There's not much, normally if they do put gutters, they put a drain. Normally, I see people put a pipe and just bring it out some distance away from the house.
Yeah.
So that doesn't, you're not having all that water come down, right next to the house. This is very flat here, relatively flat. So it's not like water coming out there is gonna have any erosive force and start making a gully to the wetland. It's just gonna kind of flatten out and dissipate.
Okay. Any questions?
No, I think I'm good.
Roy, any questions?
Nope, I'm good, thank you.
Laura, how are you doing?
I'm good too.
Yeah,
I think it's a good plan. I mean, we basically pretty much maintain, call them the performance standards of Sturbridge, 25-foot undisturbed, no structures within 50 feet. It's not an excessively large area, not taking down all the trees.
No, it's nice. Nice spot.
So I think it's,
Next to the parents?
right,
Yeah.
in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Motion?
Nobody in the public, so I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of closing the public hearing?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Benjamin in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to the project at 149 Arnold Road, DEP file number 300-1216, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project with the agent's recommended conditions and additional conditions of tightening up the no disturb limit of work down at the end of the driveway for the discussion here tonight, and the additional requirements of the roof drainage being notated on the as-built plan.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Benjamin in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to the project at 149 Arnold Road, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project under the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw with the additional conditions outlined in the detailed agenda, and with a special point out about the security or cash deposit to the town of Sturbridge in the amount of $3,000 to hold until a certificate of compliance is issued.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Benjamin in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor. That's it. Thanks.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Yeah, have a nice Christmas.
Thank you.
They coming here or are you going there?
Where?
Kids, Christmas.
I'm going to Texas.
You're going to Texas?
My daughter's hosting everybody, so
Oh, wow.
5 kids, me.
We're in Texas. I'm going next week.
Outside of Austin.
Okay, I'm going to Dallas.
Bastrap, Texas.
Nice.
So that'll be interesting.
I bet it will.
If you like,
They gonna take you dancing?
I'm gonna go dancing. I don't
Okay.
know.
There you go.
I don't know if they're gonna go, but they're gonna be, I think, 12 or 15 of us in the house for a week.
That's fantastic.
You're gonna love each other or hate each other.
Well, I don't know, yeah, so it'll be interesting. Thank you.
Take care.
You.
All right, now we're on number 7. 216 and 226 Charlton Road, notice of intent, demolition of 2-family homes with a commercial redevelopment, DEP file number 300-2217.
We've received a written request for continuance until January 9th.
Right.
With regards,
That's why I came, so they're continuing it?
oh,
Yes,
of course.
yes.
Well,
They had some edits to make on the plan,
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's,
and they're
we
going,
have to vote on the continuance since it was requested, or can we hear what she has to say?
Oh, I just came to listen. I didn't come for.
But procedurally, if she did want to say something,
she is,
Yeah, yeah.
she would be welcome, right?
But
Okay.
if, talk to her and she'll clue you in on when you need to be here.
Okay, I was just going by what was
Yeah.
published.
yeah,
on the
January, yeah,
website.
they've requested the continuance for January 9th, and then they'll be planning 13th, January 13th. So,
So
tighten this up.
with regards to DEP file number 300-1217, I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing until the 9th of January.
Second.
You know it? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Zimmerman in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor.
Well, thank you for coming
This was
out.
fun anyway.
Really sorry.
I learned a lot. If I ever build anything, right?
Right. All right, we're on to 7?
Thank you, Merry Christmas.
Merry
No, on to
Christmas,
8,
yeah.
thank you. On to 8.
Oh, yep.
All right.
320 the trail.
What are we at?
Number 8.
Number 8. All right, 320 the trail. Notice of intent, repair of a shoreline wall, DEP file number 300 dash, don't have a number.
Oh, we do have a number, it just didn't transfer over. But it's written request for continuance, to
All right.
February 20th. That number is 300-1218.
1218?
Correct.
With regard
And that
to,
does require a chapter 91 filing. That's part of why we're going to February.
with regards to the project at 320 the trail, DEP file number 300-1218, like to make a motion to continue the public hearing until February 20th, 2025.
Do I have a second? Okay, yeah. All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
St. Germain in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor?
And Ed Goodwin in favor. Now we're on to additional wetland decisions. Number 9, 70 Brookfield Road. Request for a minor change in a utility pole.
So this is at the, for the National Grid utility poles of where the plant poles are going now versus where they are. There's currently poles that are kind of going up the slope. National Grid prefers that the poles be along the driveway so that way they can be better maintenance. So here's where they are now, kind of going up along and then through the hill, opposite side of the driveway. National Grid wants them along the driveway so they're easier to maintain. One is right outside of the wetland and one is a little bit further away. They're staked out, minimal impact. I would have preferred they just stay where they are, but I do understand National Grid wanting to be able to maintain them versus having to go through the middle of a vegetated, wooded area to replace a pole.
All right?
Of course, that means adding an extra one because it's a longer distance, so.
So
I
it's just a wetland
recommend,
decision?
I recommend approving the minor change for the installation of the 2 new poles.
All right. Well, with regards to the project at 70 Brookfield Road, DEP file number 300-1169, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minor change to install the new utility poles.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
St. Germain in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor. Now we're at to 548 Haynes Street. FKA Route 15, request for a certificate of compliance, SCC 21-92.
So I'm requesting that we table this for further discussion of mitigation because there were numerous deviations from the originally approved plan. It is all outside of the 100-foot. But the house is bigger, it's closer to the back, there's a bigger driveway. Here's all the notes here. Limit of clearing is further back. As-built foundation's bigger, they added a walkway. The roof discharge is, the surveyor that did this, I was not the original engineer, so that they weren't able to determine the roof drain, and there is no foundation drain that was observed. And if it doesn't exist, my opinion is that they still need to do it.
All right, well,
Also-
let's continue it then.
Yeah, I'd like to table this until we get a better understanding, and I would like them to propose some additional mitigation
All
for
right?
the alterations.
So we don't have to continue, we
We
just
do not
table
need
it.
to vote to
No,
continue,
yeah.
I just request a table to
Let's go
January.
on, tabled. Let's go on to number 14, Cedar Lake Drive. Request for a certificate of compliance, 300-1151.
So 14 Cedar Lake Drive, it's a new garage. Aaron did the inspection on this one. The site is stable, plantings are in, no concerns. Recommendation to issue the certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions as noted.
Okay.
All right,
With regards to the project at 14 Cedar Lake Drive, DP file number 300-1151, I'd like to make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions of 47, 48, 49, 50, and 51.
I second that.
all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Jeremiah in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Great. Ed Gooder in favor. We're now on to 38 Wallace Road. Request for a certificate of compliance, 300-1079.
Request, project was septic replacement, site is stable, grass is grown, can't even tell any work was done. Recommending that the commission issue the certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions as noted.
With regards to the project at 38 Wallace Road, DP file number 300-1079, I'd like to make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions of 46 through 49.
Second that.
Any discussion, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Jeremiah in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Gooder in favor. We're now on to 4 Regip Lane. Request for certificate of compliance, 300-1036.
This project was for a new single-family home with the stormwater conditions, and I'd actually like to alter my recommendation based off of new information, that the order of conditions is no longer expired, which I'll get into in my agent update, but the permit tolling was extended again, and I would like to keep it open to allow them to complete what was not done.
What's the name on the house?
Number, sorry?
What's the applicant's name? I'm just trying to figure out where it is.
Right off the corner when you,
Straight across, if you come in?
in that little cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like from the circle, that's the one on the right side.
Okay.
Right on the ledge there.
Yeah, right on the top.
Right on the cliff.
Yep, okay.
So I'll reach out to them to
Good.
discuss that, but I'd like to table this and
It's tabled. 63 Beach Avenue. Request for a certificate of compliance. EP file number 300-1174.
so there are 2 DEP file numbers for this. This one is for the replacement of the shoreline wall. Aaron did the inspection on this one. Said the work was completed and the site is stable, recommending to issue a certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions as noted.
With regards to the project at 63 Beach Avenue, DP file number 300-1174, I'd like to make a motion to issue a complete certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions of 37, 38, and 39.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Jeremiah in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Ed Gooder in favor. We're now on to 63 Beach Ave, request for certificate of compliance, DEP file number 300-1145.
So this was for a raise and rebuild with the additional site work. Again, Aaron did the inspection, verified the plantings, and recommended the issuance of a certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions as noted, and that the commission should release the surety bond once the certificate of compliance has been recorded with the Registry of Deeds.
All right?
Just out of curiosity, the 6 maple trees, did we itemize or list out specific number of growing seasons they need to survive? Are we okay with issuing a certificate of compliance based on?
I'll leave that for Erin to address because she did the site visit.
Yep, there was one season,
Okay, cool, and we met that.
and they were completed prior to this season, so.
Perfect. With regards to the project at 63 Beach Avenue, DEP file number 300-1145, I'd like to make a motion to issue a complete certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions of 49, 50, 51, 52, and 53. And upon release, upon recording of the COC at the Registry of Deeds, we will release the surety bond.
I second that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Alison Stuber in favor?
And German in favor?
Ed Bishop in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. We are now on to 140 Lake Road. Request for a certificate of compliance, DEP file number 300-1016.
So this was also a raise and rebuild, same situation as for Regent Lane, that I request that this get tabled. We can reach out to the applicant to discuss the permit filing.
Okay. All right. So it's tabled, huh? All right. So now, enforcement orders and open violations, old business, administrative decisions.
For enforcement orders and open violations, I followed up on that letter on Bennett's, and there's been a lot of activity. Some of these are approved activities, some of them are not approved activities. There's one where we need a minor change to a plan. There is a stone walkway that I found no record of being permitted, and then the shed that was supposedly put in place, I was not able to find any record, but I need to go back to see if maybe it was asked as part of a change for the overall project that was done, and a certificate of compliance was issued, but I need to go back and look at the date when the certificate of compliance was issued and if it was done when that garage was already in. So currently kind of investigating that Bennett's activity after that letter that I read from last week. Other than that, I haven't been able to make any additional activity on the projects as noted at the last meeting.
Okay. Any old business?
I have nothing for old business.
No, I don't have any. Administrative decisions?
It's a good thing.
So item 17, to consider and vote to accept the gift of a parcel of land at 209 Charlton Road as described in the deed for conservation purposes. For those that have been on the board long enough, you're probably familiar with this property. It's been through a number of lawsuits over the last decade, and it was essentially deemed that it was not buildable. Therefore, the current property owner has decided to gift the land to the town. The select board voted to accept the land, or Conservation Commission, and put a conservation restriction on it. We're not sure what the future holds for that, as it is also within DOT right of ways, but we do have a survey, but council has reviewed the deed. I've reviewed the deed and the survey. And so the recommendation
Where is
is
it
to
on
accept
the
it. It's
road?
that corner on Charlton and Hall.
Okay, and
So,
Thought I had it on here. Isn't it on here?
so Route 20 and Hall Road.
so
I had this on here.
that's a good piece to have.
I mean, it's essentially
for-
just gonna
for
be
what
for
purpose?
stormwater. We have drainage there. That's part of how we maintained the lawsuit, is that it was not able to be built upon because the town had drainage running underneath it, essentially. Essentially, that spot is going to just be runoff and drainage.
Across the street, when that development, did you go in the back and see the water coming through there that goes under the building?
Yeah.
Yeah, that goes
Oh,
onto this.
okay.
So,
I mean, if the select board's okay with it, I mean, that's just more land for us to manage. I don't understand that.
To be
It's
honest,
unbuildable.
yeah.
So,
what do you
know.
think about the Boston having 79,000 acres in Quabbin Reservoir? Why do they have that?
Boston does?
Yeah.
The city of Boston?
Well, state, yeah.
Oh.
Why do they have that?
Maybe water?
Water quality.
Yeah, but if they can't do anything with it, I'm just saying, it's more,
Well, we
it's
wouldn't
more
be
for
able
us
to
to
do
manage.
it.
If
It
they
is.
can't do anything with it anyway, do we want
The
to be
original,
managing?
the recommendation, was to not accept it, as it could also be possible opportunities down the road, but for additional drainage and infiltration or road expansion, but, the
Well,
select
that's a
board
good
already.
point. With the Route 20 expansion that's coming this way, what impact is that to us?
We are not sure.
So why would
we-
why would we sign up for something that we don't, because that's
Yeah.
gonna come into play
So I had
in
asked
2
town
years.
council if if we put a conservation restriction, which is not even, it hasn't even been drafted yet, but if we put a conservation restriction on it, can DOT trump our conservation restriction to widen the road? And it's not determined.
Well, let's not go there because we're trying to get through this tonight. But
I just don't understand the logic of, I mean, I'm only one vote, but.
The select board accepted it against
I
recommendation.
don't always agree with the select board.
Well,
But does it matter who owns it? I mean,
it
it's
does,
better,
yeah.
it's better if we own it, it seems.
well, it's another property that I get to add to my list to be responsible for.
But you can do it.
So what would be the negatives or the positives of accepting the gift?
So it's just the fact that we accept it and we cannot do anything with it. We cannot do drainage improvements. We can't, it's just kind of,
Why can't
it would
we
be
do-
natural drainage
Why can't we do drainage improvement?
because it's no development.
See, which is a
There's a
good thing
conservation
if
restriction.
you're a conservationist. It's a bad thing if you're a capitalist.
But if you're a conservationist that's trying to keep runoff away from other more vulnerable areas.
Well,
and
that's
brooks
all
and
runoff coming down the
streams-
hill. If you go, I'll take
So-
you over.
so-
Have you
so-
forgotten?
No, I went down there this week.
It is an underground stream. It's
So-
as simple as that.
I'm seeing it on the map and seems good like for habitat and corridor from the heavily forested area that is behind the apartment buildings towards the wetland.
And-
Just
and
it's
it goes
crossing of the road. At
It
the
goes
same
under-
time, I'm not sure.
It goes under the building.
I'm not
Well,
sure.
it's being rewritten.
I know.
Okay, so,
But again, it's an unbuildable lot, so we can't do it, they can't do anything with it, and
No,
then, now
the-
we're gonna
the
take
big-
responsibility, care and custody, take on the any potential liability that may arise from it. Like, it doesn't, I don't understand the logic,
What liability?
especially with the Route 20 widening project that's going on. I
Right.
do not understand the logic of why we would take on so many unknowns on something like this, because once we've learned from past conservation restrictions that we've put on on properties that had unintended consequences, like we still don't have fields in this town, that when we do these things,
That is a complete non segue.
I'm just saying, I
I'm
don't
going old.
see
What difference does that
I
make?
don't see the logic if they can't build something there. right? And somebody else has the liability of the project, and then we take it on and still can't do anything there, but we put additional restrictions on ourselves, makes so completely illogical, doesn't make any sense.
My concerns were also just the fact that the survey was last done in 2016, so if, anything happens down the road, we're updating surveys. There was no baseline study that was initially done of it, so it's now the town's expense to do that on our own, our time and money. But going forward, my recommendations are this should come as part of the package deal, and we don't accept anything until we have all of this information in hand, so we can go into it with that. But it is what it is, and we don't know what will happen and how this may impact any possible changes to Route 20. It's undetermined that because like I said, the CR hasn't even been written, it's just the caveat that we have to do it. But it's undetermined on how, if DOT can trump any of that, and.
I can't in good conscience vote for anything with undetermined liability. Doesn't make any sense.
But didn't the Board of Selectmen already accepted it?
Yeah.
Requires a vote from both.
Okay. And
The logic makes no sense.
I don't see the,
If it was a pristine piece of land with no.
It's it contains an underground stream, which has water, and we are responsible for
Okay,
water
so
quality.
again, what are the potential liabilities that are associated with that, and what is the impact of that Route 20 widening project, and are we taking on responsibility for something that we shouldn't be? There's too many unknowns.
If you'd like to table this, I can try and I can take some of your questions combined with some of my questions and try and get a better response from town council on the impact and possible liabilities.
I'm a no at this point. If we want to try to vote on it, I'm just saying.
I think we should vote it in and go on.
I don't understand, but even if they widen Route 20, they take it away.
They're gonna take it away.
So what's the problem for us? They take it by eminent domain or whatever.
Or if they can't, because there's a conservation restriction, if that would impact
If they.
the Route 20 development that we all know so desperately needs to be done.
Right, so then we withdraw the
Believe me.
conservation.
We can't.
This
yeah,
little
that's an
lot
act of Congress.
is not gonna stop any development that they want to do, and that is planned.
If they're trying to widen it,
Right, they'll do it.
but if they won't be able to if the conservation restriction blocks it.
It won't. It's as simple as that, it won't.
Doesn't it take an act of the legislature to remove the conservation restriction?
If we put one on.
But
it depends on what it says.
We have to put it
Yeah.
on. That's the point. I think there's too many unknowns. This project is actively going on. This individual is looking to gift this to get out from underneath the tax burden, which I understand, and I want to empathize with that. But at the end of the day, it's an unbuildable lot. There's nothing that's going to happen here other than transfer of liability to us in a very unknown future situation. And we know something's coming towards us. All you got to do is travel east on Route 20. You know it's coming.
Yeah, there's no question about that.
So,
But
why
in
would
whose-
we take
but
this
in whose
on at
lifetime?
this point? It's going to happen in supposedly it's going to be in Sturbridge in 2027, right?
Yeah.
26. Okay, 26. So we're going to know within the next 2 years.
It's usually about 5 years out.
Okay, well,
I'll still be here.
In 26, it's going to be
Ed, you're still going to be sitting
31.
in that chair in 5 years.
31, it's going to be 36.
Only the good die young.
Even when,
You're
in
still out
5
there,
years,
buddy.
when DOT comes to
then
us
we
and
will
says they're widening it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should just approve this as it is. We don't even, this isn't putting a conservation easement on it. This is just
That's
accept.
what we're approving.
We're
accepting.
accepting the gift of land with the caveat that we have to put the
Do
restriction.
we have to do it?
Yeah.
Well, we'll do it in 5 years. Simple as that. That protects the land.
If you'd like me to try and address some of the liabilities with council, I'd be happy to do that as well.
That would be my preference, but I'm only one.
We could just wait.
Yeah, that would be good.
We are not in a hurry.
No, I agree with you.
So let's just, you talk to town council and see what he says to add,
I'm
questions.
all for
on-
free land, but I'm not all for transferring liability onto the townspeople with all these unknowns.
Laura, you were saying something?
No, that I agree if like, we can get some more information, like from a conservation, from a like connectivity perspective. I'm seeing that piece of land and I said like, oh, that's great for connectivity of forest towards the other side of the road, but I don't know what will be the liabilities as well. So you don't want to have that burden. So I don't know if I can get like some more information on
It's
Table
just
it, fine.
table
those
it.
liabilities.
Okay. Understood.
Meeting minutes from November 14th.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from November 14th, 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Carsten Stüber in favor?
Ed Gooder in favor?
Saint Germain in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
All right, we're on to conservation lands. No updates anticipated.
Good.
Administrative updates, conservation agent update.
Make it short.
So as a reminder, the open space forum is next Tuesday at 6:30 at Town Hall. As of right now, we have really low RSVPs, which is slightly disappointing. We have some decent participation in the photo contest, but we're really hoping that we get more people to turn out. So if you do plan on coming, please let Jean or I know so we can add you to the RSVP. If you're undetermined and just want to surprise us, that'd be a great surprise too.
I will be in Dallas.
Oh, bummer.
It's really bad timing, right?
I didn't see the RSVP. I meant to send it.
Yeah.
Committee updates?
What?
Are you all set?
Nope.
No? Okay, go ahead.
Right, do I ever have just one thing in my update? If you go in the OneDrive folder under the conservation meeting documents, you have the nomination for the Young Conservationist Award that I'm requesting that everyone reviews. So on the agenda for the next meeting, we'll put that to a vote. There's one nomination in there.
Just one
So
nomination?
Yeah, so but so still just take a look at it. It's, going through the normal process, just like you would anything else.
They say I love big oil. We shouldn't award it to them.
No. We're having our next conservation and coffee next Wednesday, and I believe Liz from DEP is also joining us, and hopefully we can kind of pick at her brain a little more on the dam project while we're there. But she had
What
Well,
dam? What dam project?
the literal dam
What?
and the OSV dam.
The OSV Dam.
Oh, that?
The
Yeah.
What's happening to it?
nothing. That's the problem. The money ran out 10 years ago and no one picked back up on it, and now we have Liz here who was not part of that project but may possibly be interested in trying to finish it so that way the fish
Isn't
can
it
move
finished?
freely.
Isn't
it is
it?
not.
Oh,
It is not.
looks pretty finished.
But these conversations, so far the first one has been beneficial, so
That's good. That's good.
keeping it going and just trying to tie in some of these relationships and keep the communication channels open with everyone. I've got a site visit next week on Plimpton with Opacum and then their new forest stewardship person that they had hired to just kind of go over that. And 2 years ago, the town voted to approve $20,000 of CPA funds towards management of that property, and that was never done, and the money was never spent. So we'll be able to kind of go back and analyze what needed to be done and see if that we need to expand upon that. And it was mostly for cleaning up some unhealthy trees, updating some signage and things like that. So that'll be a good opportunity to follow forward on that. Going back to the Permit Extension Act, for whatever reason, so about month or two ago, we received notification from DEP that said, congratulations, permit tolling is done. All those permits, that window is closed, so it's all back to normal again. So we sent out a bunch of notifications about certificates of compliance that your permit was expired or about to expire, so let's wrap it up. Then we got notice from the town planner within the last week that the state decided to extend the permit tolling for whatever reason another 2 years. So if it expired before January 1st, 2025, they get another 2 years to complete their project. I'm waiting on opinion from council on how this affects the bylaw permits, because it just specifically mentioned state permits. And now, conservation-wise DEP, we have not received anything from DEP that said that this got back out, so I didn't even know that this was a thing until Jean had pointed it out. She didn't even know that this was a discussion, that they were going to continue it, because again, it was done. So we're waiting to see how this affects the local permitting, but everyone's got another 2 years on their projects, which pros and cons to it, depending on the project, but at least we've been getting a lot of response from all those letters that we sent out and getting some projects closed out and completed. Just some of the ones that were incomplete, they'll have more time to finish it, but now we'll have to kind of go back and review what still needs to be done on some of those. The forest cutting plan that the board voted, recommended approval on, was approved by the Board of Selectmen on Monday of this week, so that should be starting within the next month or so. The forester came in yesterday, to talk to me. The person doing the cutting is finishing up another job, and then we'll be moving on, but it was a great site to be working on. And then my, nope, that's it. That's all I have.
Great.
I made it fast.
No committee updates, right?
What?
No
committee updates, no.
Did you have CPC?
Yep.
Anything exciting coming our
Yep,
way?
lots of money going our way.
Projects coming?
What?
Any projects that will be coming our way?
The ones you know about, the trails projects you know about.
The Grand Trunk Trail?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about it. Little, they're not little, 9,000 for this, 10,000 for that. And we've got the cemetery is coming for their usual money, which is $9,500, and they've been doing it for, I would say, 25 years. And they do a good job of cleaning up the monuments.
They do. I volunteered a few weeks ago and took
did
my
you?
oldest daughter and went and cleaned a couple tombstones out there.
Cool, huh?
Very cool.
Yeah.
Also, reading the names and date of births and all these things is very interesting.
Do they
Yeah.
do they do that with regularity?
What's that?
Is there
No.
like a schedule or?
No.
Well, there's two different things.
He Wally has volunteers that just kind of go out on certain days and
That's Historic Commission.
yeah.
And they're doing
Would that
volunteer work.
apply for NHS volunteer hours? It probably would, right?
Probably. I would if you're
I bet,
interested.
I bet my daughter would enjoy something like
Yeah,
that.
it was actually really cool. It's, it's super easy. But like I said, my 4-year-old was doing it. But, we're talking about the name of the people and everything too. But it was really interesting, and it's very satisfying when you're scraping everything off. And then I took before and after pictures on some of them just so I could see it. But, what you treat them with. Sometimes it's like the next day, and it's more like heat activated. But if you are interested,
If
in that, I would
it's not too
reach
much
out
to
them.
ask, if you could forward me the information
Absolutely.
on how to look into that, that would
Absolutely.
be awesome.
We could ask Wally to come to our next meeting.
Just for fun. You want
Yeah.
us to sit through all this?
No, just to come and tell us about the program, because it's a great program.
Maybe you could do it during the walk-in?
What?
So he's the first thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they we came to CPC for like $4,000 worth of miscellaneous materials to do this for.
That's cool.
I'll see if he's able to come to the January one, if not
Yeah.
February. Perfect.
Neat.
Any correspondence?
No correspondence that I've
Unanticipated.
received.
Well, that's good.
New business next meeting.
This is always so fun.
So, next meeting is January 9th. We have a really weird next few weeks coming up as far as site inspections go. The deadline, application deadline isn't until December 23rd. So I'm not going to know what we have until December 23rd. I think that there's going to be at least 2 new ones, but I don't know. And obviously this puts us right before Christmas and New Year's, and who knows what the ground is going to look like. So I would like to schedule today. It's just gonna, and everyone's availability is gonna be a little weird with the holidays. So
I'm going to be away, but I'm planning on connecting on the 9th remotely.
Okay.
All right.
It's only 2 hours difference, so it should be fine.
What's everybody doing on New Year's Eve?
I don't know.
Is anybody out of town? Is that Tuesday?
I'm not.
You're out of town?
No, but I will be.
New Year's Eve at 8 o'clock in the morning. You're not going to be celebrating yet.
What? I'm not gonna bracket it. It gets,
You may have something. You may have a prior engagement that you're not aware of yet.
I know that I do.
Oh, okay. Well,
You know,
that's fine.
It's kind of like that liability, you know?
All right, I
know
got
it's
you.
there.
I got you. What?
my preference, I mean, obviously I know we like to do them ahead of time, but I think that we might just be better off doing it the week of the meeting, and all my comments are kind of just going to be based off of what I see on the plan, and then I can just provide a copy of the site inspection report afterwards. Because also I'm wondering of the engineers and the homeowners for whatever we have, are they going to be around for those 2 holiday weeks? That's kind of the 2 biggest vacation weeks. That we have.
What are you talking about, site inspections, or what are you talking
Site
about?
inspections the week of the meeting.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to have the site inspections, after January 9th?
No, before the meeting, like the 6th, 7th, or 8th.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know yet, but at one point I want to fly
I
out.
just feel like the week of Christmas and the week of New Year's is kind of setting us up for failure with everyone's availability and.
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm wrong.
the preference, it would be Tuesday, the 7th. But I'm always kind of somewhat in flux because you never know when somebody's going to be like, hey, Eric, I need to meet with you. So,
We also don't know if there's going to be a foot of snow and we won't be able to do them at all.
is that
so
true?
Right.
But
It's
it's
a toss-up no matter
I know
what.
you
Carson,
can't
what's your
do
schedule?
Tuesdays, right?
I don't know yet. At one point I
You
want
have school
to
that
fly
week?
out to Washington State.
Oh, yeah. Washington State?
Yeah.
I won't make it, but
So
I will see the picture.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Flora.
Roy, how are you doing?
I actually might be able to.
Roy?
He fell asleep.
Gone.
Right?
Tuesday the 7th? 8:30?
8:30.
Tentatively, yes.
All right. So we're all set there. We've got a tentative schedule.
Yeah.
And I'll keep you posted after the 23rd and we know how many we'll actually have, and if it turns out there's only 1 or 2, and I can reach out and see if we're able to do it sooner.
Yeah.
But just that'll be the tentative date.
I'm available within.
Did you want to talk about this today?
No. Just wanted everybody to know that one tree that they cut down on 72 gets one little tree. And
Oh, yeah, I got it.
you got it?
Yep.
So I'll send it to the others. It's just ridiculous.
Do we have any motions?
To adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Close us out.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you, Merry Christmas.
Thank you.